Kids, I wanted to say hello. It's been a while. I'm going to update you on my schizoaffective disorder, and I talk often about, or not often anymore, but I make videos about my life being schizoaffective, bipolar type. And I've been this way for a very, very long time, and I've gone through a lot. And my news update, my latest update, I have a big announcement. I went to a new psychiatrist, and before I could even tell him one of my concerns, he told me exactly what I had been worried about. He said the combination of drugs that you have been on for so many years is known to cause dementia. And he asked me, are you having any feelings of dementia, or are you exhibiting anything that appears to be dementia? And I said, yes, that's something I've been worried about. And so we discussed it, and he says that there is such a thing as this drug-induced dementia, and that it's permanent. So there is damage, and I'm trying to find out the extent of the damage, but getting doctors to do that and say anything definitive is proving to be a challenge, to say the least. So what's happened since the last time I talked to you? Well, I think the last time I made a video, I was in crisis, going through a terrible time with my last psychiatrist and his playing with my medications and sending me repeatedly to the hospital with extreme allergic reactions and total breakdowns and stuff like that. Not fun. So I decided after that, I fired him and got myself off all of my psych meds except one antidepressant and one anxiety med. But everything else, no more. I stopped taking it, just taking just the minimum. And it's been unique because not only do I have lots and lots of mental problems that I can sit and talk about endlessly, but I also have physical issues. So I take lots of different kinds of medications, and they interact with each other. So whenever you switch one, all of them play differently with each other again. And a good example of this is when I took myself off the psych meds, which were fattening, I have several meds that I take that actually suppress appetite. So I haven't really had much of an appetite since January, and even maybe before that a little bit, because I was depressed. But I started losing weight, and a substantial amount of weight, in a relatively quick period of time. So I'm not concerned about it. Hopefully it helps the diabetes, but we never know. That's one thing. Second thing is, again, I apologize for my inability to speak like I used to. It's a challenge. I just can't. It frustrates me, it saddens me, but I have to live with this new reality. And my mind sometimes goes blank, and I know that it's just going to get worse than it is now. And that's just a sad reality. So I'm trying to enjoy life as much as possible while I can still remember it, which is important to me. But I can say that when you change off medication, some people say, oh, you got to get off, you got to get off, you got to get off. It comes with a whole new set of problems. For example, yesterday, I was more suicidal than I have been in more than 2 years, maybe 3 years. When I first started taking this psoriasis medication that I take, one of the side effects is it causes severe depression and suicidal thoughts. And suicidal thoughts is one of the highlights of this drug. And when I first started taking it, it lived up to its reputation. It gave you suicidal thoughts even if you never really pondered suicide. You pondered suicide, and you pondered it a lot. And it was relentless, and it was difficult to get used to. But finally, your body gets used. Anytime you take medications, if you're not allergic to it, your body will get used to it eventually. It's a matter of, can you wait it out or not? And in this case, I'm pretty strong-willed. So my body will tell me if I'm rejecting something pretty quick. Otherwise, I will power through it until it plateaus or becomes the new norm or whatever. Well, yesterday, and just a little history, this past week has been really strange in my house. My room flooded without explanation. There was no leaks, no nothing, no one was here. There was no explanation for water on my floor. I didn't black out. I have cameras everywhere, so I know where I'm at. And I know where everybody else is in the house, inside and out. So there's no way this water should have gotten on the floor. And there were over 12 gallons of water. It was really weird. But it kind of rocked my week. And then yesterday, I woke up just with this sense of dread. And I wanted to kill myself so bad all day. And it really pissed off my day because it's hard. You cannot blink. You cannot turn away from your suicidal thoughts when you're having them. Because if you do, they'll win. If you're not sitting there discussing it and rationalizing it and arguing with it and negotiating with it or anything you can do to keep your sanity at that time, the suicidal thoughts will win. And yesterday was particularly rough, and I couldn't wait for it to end. But sadly, the suicidal thoughts dragged on through the night hours, and I finally got to sleep about 4 in the morning today. And when I took a short nap and I woke up because I had a delivery I had to sign for. So I was sitting waiting for the delivery. And as soon as I signed onto the computer, lo and behold, Anthony Bourdain died of suicide. And I sat and just was stunned that this man who for all intents and purposes seemed to have this lovely life, took it. And I had just been fighting that same battle the night before, apparently with him all day yesterday. It was horrible. And I, of course, had to report it to the person that takes care of me, the people that take care of me. And that always freaks them out and it always upsets them because they don't truly understand what it's like to be suicidal. It's not something you choose. You don't wake up and say, I want to kill myself. No. Your mind wakes you up and tells you it wants to kill itself. And here's the reasons why. And it works on you, and it works on you, and it works on you, and it works on you. And it's relentless. But if you persevere, you're still here to talk about it. If you give in, you go on to your next adventure. And the rest of the world, sadly, writes you off as another statistic. I don't want to leave as a statistic. I want to go peacefully. I want to go as soon as possible. And that's the other thing that people don't understand. I want to die, but I don't want to kill myself. I want to naturally go as quickly as possible. I feel like I'm 25 years late to die. That's how I feel. That's honestly how I feel. I have been waiting at a bus stop for 25 years for this bus to come by, and it's late. And I'm growing impatient. But I'm not suicidal. But here I was fighting suicidal thoughts. And it was all I can do to not start planning my own suicide. Because once I start planning, I know I'm halfway in the grave. Because I'm a meticulous planner. And since I am not what they call scattered or broken or something when you have multiple voices in your head, since I don't have that anymore, there's no one to discuss it with. And it's a very lonely place to be in your own head trying to fight with your brain and your body about trying to kill itself. It's like a different entity inside of you that just will not relent. So when they talk about like demons, like the concept, I don't believe in demons necessarily, but I understand the concept because of what it feels like when you're negotiating your own life with yourself. So I just wanted to pass that along. I'm still here. There is still hope. If you ever need to reach out. I can, I have lots of experiences that I've lived through that I'm happy to share. And I just wanted to remind myself before my mind goes any further that what I've been through and what I'm going through and what this journey is like. So hang tough, because life doesn't get easier when you get older. It gets harder, because when your body starts to break down and you add more medications, you add more problems and you add more complications to your issues, and particularly when you're taking psych meds. So get ready for that. Plan on it. Keep mindful of it every day, and that way you can stay alive. Talk to you later.